Yeah. Aha. But yeah, Iron Sky. Go get your Blu-ray of it with all the extras for 14 bucks or so. Probably on Black Friday it'll probably be down to no, 10 or 12 bucks. You can own it and watch it. Do you like that kind of thing? It was out in theaters. Hold on. It was out in theaters for just a short time, but it made back the 10 million. Mainly it was very popular overseas, but apparently there are some neocons that don't like it. Because it makes fun of America and Sarah Palin. I said, why not make fun of Sarah Palin? She's ripe for parody, it's okay. She's not really the president. I say go for it. Why not? Ew, it's just a movie, so what? And like the space Nazis, so what? Okay, Mark's Cards and I had riffed on Prometheus a bunch of times, but I don't think I did a review of it. So I would like to do a review of Prometheus. Prometheus came out with the premise that it was going to be this big, expansive, multi-million-dollar space epic explaining the origins of mankind. Big premise. And like, they were going to explain that, and not only that, the origins of the alien from Alien, because it's Ridley Scott. It's the guy that did Blade Runner and Alien. I figured, well, it's got to be awesome then. And then they said one of the writers is David Lindelof. Damon Lindelof. Yes, the guy that did Lost. Now, even though J.J. Abrams and Kurtzman and Ricci from Lost have gone on to do better movies, they probably would have been a better choice to write this script. It is so full of holes. And the problem is not that it's a science fantasy and that's out in space. That's awesome. The visuals are pretty. It's a very pretty, awesome movie. But like Avatar, which took itself seriously in that vein and made this sort of thing, the story, even though the rest of it is cool, the story is complete. It's just, wow, it's dreadful. I'll get the DVD when it comes out. Yeah, the DVD is out. I haven't bought it yet. I'll wait until it's like 10 bucks or something. Stream it or something. But I've seen the movie in the theater. David Lindelof comes out. Oh, shit. David Lindelof. Okay, David, you're going to screw it up. I just know you are. So, you're going to mess it up. And he did. Part of the premise is that this bizarre leap in logic is like it's the future, which is fine. But these company called the Wayland Corporation decides to launch a spaceship to LV-423, a planetoid, in orbit of LV, I assume, a big gas giant. And LV is the planet in the Zeta 2 Reticuli system seen in Alien, the first Alien movie. So this is another moon of that system. Yeah, so it's another moon of that system. Now, the first premise, which Mark's Cards pointed out immediately upon seeing it, is how did, like, ancient man, when they wrote on the cave paintings, to indicate where all this stuff was thousands of years later, how did they know this solar system and the other one pertaining to it from this other group? Why would they put that up there for these guys to find in the future? Because the whole premise of it later on is that they had to find this in the future, and they can't know that at all. Like, there's like nobody noticed the cave paintings before, but okay, we'll buy it anyway. So the scientists, well, early on, it starts off with this guy drinking this oil, and then he melts, and he forms the DNA of the Earth, supposedly, alleged thing, which is really strange. It's the whole panspermia theory gone completely batshit crazy. The whole idea of like, ooh, spontaneous generation of life. But this giant, like white-looking alien thing that somehow melts himself to form all the DNA on Earth. That in itself is completely made up. The other DNA wouldn't be humanoid. It would be, that would mean everything would be humanoid if there was just his DNA everywhere. All of his minerals and stuff. How would that work? So it doesn't work. But okay, let's give David Linoff that one. So this ship goes out into space and to this moon, and there's a robot on the ship who is very vain. This robot named David, and the robot's probably the most curious character on the show. He's like this goofy robot, right? And like he could have been comical, but they weren't playing him that way. They were playing him seriously. It's kind of psychotic, and like they could have made him comical because he's basically, if my nephew who's my age, David, was still like around hanging around a KTS, he would be this character, like spot on. It's like, okay, here's David. My nephew David is in this just because he's not like a robot, but he's kind of that sort of quirky personality that now, given like 20 years later or so, he would act like that. Yeah, he just would. He would be like strange like that robot dude. But he wouldn't be into it, I don't think. He'd be into video games. He'd be like for something else. But it says, yeah, it's David up there, and his name was David. So David the robot is plotting with the I guess the Charlize Theron character, who's the captain, and the black dude, to hide the fact that the old man is actually on the ship, which doesn't make any sense because why would the old man pretend not to be on the ship? Why not just say I'm on the ship? Why is that a secret later on? It shouldn't even be a plot point. It should just be, oh, he's on the ship. And they throw in these like weird twists that are like Lost twists. Oh, he's Lost guy. And like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if they have this chamber that's only for a man, and this lady uses it later? Wouldn't it be cool if this alien head is over here? Whatever. It's like, okay, that's very interesting and very science fiction-y and stuff and fantasy-like, but it doesn't make any sense. Then I have your science fiction make a little sense, just a little bit. Okay, granted, alien travel and light speed, all that doesn't exist yet, but they're trying to play it for real. They're trying to play it for like, this is a serious operation to go to this planet and find out the origins of mankind. But they don't. When they get to the planet, they act stupid. They're like the dumbest scientists in the universe. As Red Letter Media said, what the heck are these people trying to do? They're just like, why would they go down to the planet and set up a mapping device and then get lost? Yeah, why would they do that? I mean, they're like, did Wayland deliberately make this $2 billion mission journey to outer space to this rock? Which doesn't make any sense, because how would the cave painting people know about the rock and the installation? They wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. Well, no one actually told Ridley Scott, apparently. He's getting kind of old, getting quite old. Well, I also can't entirely blame Ridley, because, like, apparently Ridley's brother was really depressed, the other Scott. And he actually killed himself a couple of weeks ago. So it's possible that Mr. Scott, when he was making this movie, was like, oh, his brother, the other Scott, he's not doing so well, and maybe he was distracted and wasn't around so much. I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. I mean, it was months later that the brother did that, but it's like the other Scott, the other guy that did some other movies. Why can't I remember that guy? Oh well, Ridley Scott's brother killed himself. Which is messed up, but this movie was made before that happened. Maybe what happened is Ridley Scott's brother finally saw the movie on video and went like, and then just decided, oh, that's it right there, 2012, the end of the world. I don't know, hope not, but so yeah, the other Scott, I can't remember his first name, but yeah, he's been in a lot of directed movies too. He's like a big director. The other Scott. He's Ridley Scott. But Ridley Scott and David Lindelof wrote this, and with some other people from Lost. it's like, wow, this movie has so many. Okay, if there's space scientists, like Wayland puts out the scientist, puts him on the ship, and he's like I'm gonna go out here and we're gonna go out to this strange temple and find this artifacts and the weird alien coffee goo and tar goo or whatever it is, and these little bottles, little flasks. They do such dumb things. It's like, they're supposed to be scientists, right? And every science fiction fan, hold on. Okay. Now every science fiction fan, at least every Star Trek fan at least, and maybe some of the Star Wars ones too a little bit. Well, Star Wars, all the planets have Earth-like atmospheres. But we're given that this planet doesn't, except for what's inside the base when they go down there. They send the science team down to the base, and it's like this temple thing, and it's basically the lost city from In the Mountains of Madness. It's basically what it is, because they have the scientists and they go nuts, because they're down there in this weird thing, and like the origins of man, and the origins of demons and things like that. And the demons are the aliens in this version. It's the Mountains of Madness. It's, yeah, it's Lovecraft. It's basically an ode to Lovecraft, which also H.R. Giger is an ode to Lovecraft too, in a way. So, yeah, it's Lovecraftian. Okay, fine. A lot of Lovecraftian creatures in it too, like the snake thing, whatever. So, yeah, a lot of that. And giants. There were giant aliens in it. So, there you go. It's totally Lovecraftian. In the Mountains of Madness, if you think of it. And Red Letter Media didn't catch on that. I did. Mountains of Madness, Lovecraft. Yeah. Gotta read some of the classics there. Because in that one, it's an Arctic-based thing, and actually, it goes back to Mark's cards discussing the Thing. The Arctic base with the bad guy that kills everybody, the shapeshifter, the Thing that kills people. You know, Lovecraft. That's in the Mountains of Madness. At least when John Carpenter was doing the Thing, he kind of knew that he was kind of copying that. So, yeah. And interestingly enough, some of the writing team was going to do the Mountains of Madness movie with Del Toro, but they backed out at the last minute and said, no, we want to do something else. It's too big. Actually, it wouldn't have been too big. They could have done it. It would have been more interesting. Scott should have done Mountains of Madness instead. Because then it would have made sense. Because then the scientists could have just gone crazy because the alien goo got to them. But they could have explained that. They could have said, like, oh, they were dumb enough to take their helmets off, and that infected them all or something. And that caused their brains to, like, warp or something. They couldn't think anymore. See, that would make sense. But they didn't do that. So basically the scientists are down on the planet, and they're like, look, we have this whole thing, you know. And we're gonna map the temple base, and for some reason they decide, let's grab this dead alien's head, bring it back to the ship, and try to reanimate it, and get its DNA out. Ooh. And let's have that robot get some of that alien coffee and try to infect somebody in the eye, or vicariously through spiking his drink and infect his eye. Like, why is the robot doing that? Why did he do that? Why? And then, like, what's this weird premise of the girl who, from Dragon Tattoo, not from the American Dragon Tattoo, it's Cerise. It's the one from the original one. The original Dragon Tattoo. I saw the first one. And then I saw the American one. Actually, they're both unequal-footed Dragon Tattoos. Yeah, so... they're both equally screwed up movies. And then some of the best of the year. But they're screwed up. but you know, the years those came out. But yeah, so the scientists are nuts. They don't know what they're doing. Wayland shows up eventually. Wayland apparently didn't die, and they're like, ooh, Wayland didn't die. No one seems to bother about that. The robot's running around the ship doing stuff. The boyfriend gets infected with the alien virus. The two guys that got lost, they're down on the planet. They find the Lovecraftian snake dildo thing. And one of them is dumb enough to actually grab hold of it. It's a cobra-like alien snake thing that looks like a cobra crossed with a penis. And it's like blah in his face. And he's mesmerized by it, and he picks it up. Is he the croc hunter? What is he doing? It's a snake. Put it down. What is he, the turtle man? Live action. No, I don't think so. Well, snake. It's a snake. You know, you're not gonna pick up a poisonous snake. And then the robot's putting poison in people's drinks. No one says anything. Then the girl gets the alien egg. Basically, gets not really an alien egg so much as a parasite inside her that grows really fast. Goes into the chamber and gives herself a C-section, which is like, okay, that's medically impossible. Not only that, she wouldn't be able to walk. Her abdomen would be everywhere. It would like fall out, even if it was stapled on the inside, on the outside, and stapled on the inside. All of her organs would be bleeding out everywhere, like, and she'd essentially be dead in like an hour. But no, she runs around the ship, and they go visit the engineer ship. They're called the engineers. The humans decide they're called that. They just decided that's a good name for them, you know, engineers, space engineers. They get to the engineer ship, and apparently this weird thing happens. They get that robot to talk to the old man, and then wake up the engineer that's been in hypersleep. He wakes up, basically goes ballistic because he freaks out. He's like, who are these guys? And how does the robot even know the language? He would not know the alien language. That's like ID4 right there. That's like, oh, come on. Like, they know the computer language and they put the virus in the alien ship and crash it. No. No. Not even in bizarre science fantasy would that ever work. Okay, it's fine in Star Trek. They have a universal translator, which is also bold. But we give Star Trek, you know, the credit for that. We can say, yeah, that's fine. But but in this movie, they're trying to be serious, but then they completely blow it by making it this cheesy boo, shake it, more than scary, just boo kind of horror. And the original Alien was scary. The original Alien, I don't know what Scott lost it. I bet he just wasn't thinking because he had family problems or something. Because the original Alien was awesome. It was basically a haunted house on a ship, and the alien is in the dark, and you don't see him that much. It's basically taking out the whole crew, leaving only Ripley to save the day, and she barely escapes, blowing that airlock. And like, that was a really awesome movie. It was really scary because it was like you didn't know what that was. You didn't know what that was, and it wasn't just a startling scary. It was like a messed up scary. Like the alien was in the guy's chest and stuff, and it was all like little penis alien comes out of the chest. It was awesome. Like, crazy ass movie. That was one of the coolest movies ever. But Ridley Scott apparently lost it over the years and just, man. And then they're all like, and then him and Lindelof are in interviews saying afterward, no, this is just like the first one. It's another continuity, even though the ship lands in the same place, and the space jockey is really the giant, and all this other goofy shit that doesn't make any sense. Why did the space jockey have to be a giant guy? Yeah, that's chat. Oh, God. Really? That's the... No. This is not the same movie. This is not Alien. It's almost like it's not the same director. But there's a lot of Ridley Scott in it. And yeah, they have pretty visuals, but the story was just... God. And like the ship rolling on the ground, like they're chasing a rolling giant wheel ship thing. It was rolling, and they don't just go diagonally. Or stop. They go over them. Yeah. The scientists were all dumb. And like, it's a mess. And then the sad thing is that B movie, Iron Sky, that parody, is actually a better movie than Prometheus. It's not trying to be, it's trying to be worse. But it's more entertaining. I mean, it would have been fine if they'd said Prometheus was a comedy. And they're like, yeah, this is supposed to be like a joke. April Fool's song. I'm trying to be a joke, April Fool's, but they were serious. I was like, damn. And there are many treatises on why it was bad. None of which make any sense. Some of them do. And the people that are fawning all over Avatar, it's like, really? It's Pocahontas in space with blue Thundercats. It really is. It's Pocahontas. About the little dances with wolves. Ready? But he goes there, falls in love with the native, try to escape. They join each other, take off. Dances with wolves. With Thundercats. Although I would give James Cameron the idea to do Thundercats. Incidentally, James Cameron did Aliens. Yeah. Alien 2. Which was more of a treatise against the military. He doesn't really like the military every time he does a movie. He also didn't like the military in the other one. The military